Hey guys, thanks for coming back to the channel. I have a fun new discovery. Can you dehydrate food in your oven? Let's find out. Welcome to Hidden Valley Homestead, where my wife Olivia and I escaped the city to homestead our off-grid property in Idaho. This is our journey. All right, for those of you guys that have been following our channel for any length of time, you guys know that here at Hidden Valley Homestead, our only source of heat in this awesome log cabin is wood. And our only source of power is this solar system. Now, the solar panels charge up batteries, and I have batteries. You guys go back and see those videos. I'll link it up in the description up on top. You guys can see the batteries and the mistakes I made. But I did just upgrade all of our batteries to a large bank of AGMs. However, that power is still limited. So, one of our desires here on Hidden Valley Homestead to be able to weather the storms that are coming, that are already here, with the stuff that's going to be happening in our world. One of the things we do is we're putting up food, we're preparing it, we're preserving it, and storing it. So what do you do with food like fruit? What do you do with that? You can get a freeze dryer, which are extremely expensive and use a lot of power. Two, you can can it. So you can can pears and apples and that kind of thing, and that's a good way to preserve it, and that'll sit on the shelf for years. That's probably the cheapest, most cost-effective way to preserve food, is by canning it. But in doing so, you lose quite a few of the nutrients with the boiling the fruit, whatnot, to preserve, to kill the bacteria. What about your stove? What about a dehydrator? Let's go inside, and I'm going to show you guys something I discovered, and we're going to test this out. All right, so as you guys know, in our log cabin, our only source of heat is wood, and we are on solar power with battery backup. So that makes using a freeze dryer out of the question unless I'm going to run a generator, or buying a dehydrator, which also runs on power. So how does a dehydrator work? We all know how a freeze dryer works. It sucks all the water out, and it's not technically frozen, but because it's put under a vacuum, it sucks all the moisture out and technically freezes it without any water in it. Then it preserves, and you can keep that stuff on the shelf for 25 years. A dehydrator simply dehydrates the food. There's still some moisture content in it. Not going to last for 25 years on the shelf, but it still will last a couple of years in a sealed bag. So it's one way to preserve food. But they work with low heat and circulating air. That's how a dehydrator works. So when you buy a dehydrator, it's got a fan in it with a little heating element, and it's electric, right? What about your stove? If you guys have been following this channel for any length of time, you guys remember when I put this kitchen in for Olivia and this 60-inch Viking that we bought. And we've been super, super happy with it. Love this stove. We have all kinds of room on here for canning, and that's our primary method of preserving food. However, with the new orchard that's outside, we need a new way to preserve this food, and I want to dehydrate. I didn't want to spend, $100 to $300 on a dehydrator. Can you use your oven's convection setting to dehydrate food? Well, I discovered when I was looking through the manual for this stove, I wanted to buy a new part for it. One of the igniters is the clicker staying on, so I need to change that. What I discovered was this little blurb about dehydrating food. I thought, what? I've never seen that or heard that. What the heck? So I read it, and because this oven has a convection feature, you can turn this on low heat and turn the convection on, and you can dehydrate food in this oven. Now, this oven is propane. It's not, and now of course the fan will run, and that's going to use a little bit of power, but it's very, very little power. But the heat is mainly going to be propane, whereas the one that you're going to buy from the store on Amazon is going to be electric. So let's test this thing out and see. Does it dehydrate food as well as a regular dehydrator? All right, let's see here. The lowest setting on here is, well, it's 175. So turn that sucker on. Right there. Looks like it's already hot. So let's do some prepping. All right, guys. Now I'm going to use these cookie racks. The openings in the mesh are small enough that it's gonna hold this fruit with no problem. I can't just put the fruit right on a grill. So I'm gonna actually cut this up right now. All right, well, these bananas are probably a little bit on the ripe side, but that's okay. I'm gonna cut these up and lay them on here. Now I'm gonna cut them up in like 1/4 inch pieces. Now, I was gonna lay these directly on a cookie sheet, but you need the air to be able to circulate around on the bottom and the top. All right, I got my bananas. Now let's do some apples. Okay, I've got my apple cored right here, and I wanna cut these into slices. Okay, guys, I've got my fruit on. I'm just going to do 1 rack today, and I'm going to try this thing out. I'm going to put it in the oven. I'm going to turn on the convection, and we're going to let that thing run. It's probably going to be 5-6 hours before they're ready. So let's put them in and see what it does. I am laying these suckers on the top rack. I'm going to put a cookie sheet underneath just in case they start to drip. Convection on, making sure my heat is all the way down. I will see you guys back here in about 4 hours. Okay, it's been about 5 hours. Let's check these things out. Now, you guys that have got a lot of experience, this is my first time dehydrating. Oh my gosh. All right, what do you guys think? Now, these are definitely dry. They're almost crackling. Look at that, they broke and they're brittle. All right, I've let them cool down now for a little bit. I'm gonna try them out now after they've cooled down. Be in the oven for about 5 hours. Can you guys hear that crunch? Wow. No, the bananas, that was the apple. The banana's crunchy too, wow. But they're not rock hard. Absolutely stunning. I was talking to my son, and he asked me if I put any cinnamon on these before I dried them. I hadn't thought of doing that. Next time I'm going to try it with a little bit of cinnamon, maybe a sprinkle of sugar on there. But we really don't need the sugar, but maybe some cinnamon. And dry them that way too. So, raging success. All right, guys, I am still geeking out about this whole dehydrated food thing with the stove, this new discovery of this stove that I didn't know I had. I'm gonna make a whole batch of banana chips today. So this is day number 2. Let's dehydrate some food. The apples came out awesome. I think next time I'm gonna peel the apple though. I don't know if I like the skin on there. Leave a comment. Should I leave the skin on? Take it off? They're light and they're crispy. Unbelievable. The banana chip, I was really surprised. I thought they would be hard because when you buy the banana chips in the store, a lot of times they're really hard. These are actually soft and crispy. A little bit of crunch. Fantastic flavor. Let's do a bunch of bananas. Oh. All right, guys, that was 8 bananas, and you can see I've got more room on the rack, so I'm going to throw some apples on there. Here's a really cool tool. I'll leave a link in the description for this tool for coring an apple. So all you guys that have been dehydrating food forever and ever and ever, I know you guys are laughing and chuckling and going, I know, I'm a rookie. I just discovered this, it was pretty amazing, but on our journey here at Hidden Valley Homestead on how to preserve food, let's talk about how to store this stuff after you've done it. So here's 2 methods for storing. It's a dry storage method, just a canning jar with a reusable lid on it. And this stuff will stay good for, gosh, months and months and months. It doesn't rot or anything like that. You can also put some of those desiccant packages in there if you want to keep the humidity down. But I think we eat these too fast for them for me to worry about that. Or of course, just a regular plastic bag. But let's core some apples. All right, just for the heck of it, I'm gonna try an orange. Let's see what a dehydrated orange, how that turns out. All right, guys, check this out. This is my apple corer. It's just a real basic tool. Huh. Look at that. This end has got a little bit of an edge to it, but it's not super sharp. Okay, guys, I got my oven on. It says 175. I think that worked pretty good. So I'm going to keep it at 175. I'm going to turn the convection on. Let's stick these bad boys in here. Okay, guys, it's been about 5 hours. I put these things in 11 o'clock or so. It's 4, so it's about 5 hours. And I didn't even look at them. Woo, suck them out. Woo-wee. Those things are all dried up. Look at the oranges. Give you guys a close-up on these. Look at those. Holy moly, those look good. So these oranges are actually pretty dry. That's amazing. I can't wait to see what those taste like. We know the apples taste good, and those things just shriveled up like no problem. And these bananas, now they're still just a smidge gooey, but they're still a little soft. But once they cool off, they're gonna get nice and crispy. So, wow, about 5 hours or so, and this stuff is ready to go. All right, I can't wait to try this orange. Let me see what this tastes like. That is fabulous. Oh my gosh. I've never had a crispy orange. That's really good. Wow. Huge success, you guys. I'm going to be saving tons of money by using my own oven with the convection setting on the lowest heat setting, which is probably about, well, the lowest heat setting on the knobs is 175. I was able to turn it on just a little bit below that, so probably in the 135 to 140 range. A quick Google search will tell you that the way to store these things, that they'll last 6 months to a year in just a can or a jar. Put in some of those little desiccant bags. You can buy them cheap on Amazon. It actually said that if you store them in Mylar bags, vacuum sealed Mylar bags, they'll last 25 years. I didn't know that. The biggest enemy of dehydrated food is going to be moisture and oxygen, and then light. So you want to keep the oxygen out. So if you use a vacuum seal bag, and then keep them out of the sunlight, and throw a couple little desiccant bags in there to keep the moisture content really, really low, they should last for years like that on the shelf. So guys, I'm going to say, forget the freeze dryer. Way too expensive, way too much money, way too costly to run, especially for us here at Hidden Valley Homestead. All of you guys that are off-grid, thinking, you know, the stove, a propane or a natural gas-fired stove with a convection setting is the way to go to preserve your food, to dry it out. So guys, check out what you got and see what kind of a stove you got. If you've got a convection setting on there, do some experimenting. So far, I am 2 for 2 on my food dehydrating and preserving method here at Hidden Valley Homestead. So guys, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.